Hey guys, it's me, John Avenger, once again, and welcome back to Horrorfest 2017. We're back with When Monsters, When Animals Strike Back, and this is going to be a review of the 1976 remake of the original. This is the 1976 remake, not the 2005 remake that Peter Jackson did, of King Kong. This one. Technically, it's not a horror movie, but hey, it's a monster creature feature and it has a giant monster attacking a city, so it counts. Anything with creatures counts. Now, let me read the synopsis in the back. The Pitchrock's company search for new oil reserved on a strange island unleashes a terror unseen by civilized man, King Kong. I know I haven't seen Kong Skull Island yet, so I can't review that yet. The timeless story of a beauty, this is Jessica Lange now, not Fay Ray, making her film debut, which I'm glad, I'll get to that, and a beast comes to the screen in this ambitious production from Dino De Laurentiis, and I think he did a good job. Charles Grodin is the scheming oil company shark out to exploit the giant beast to his fullest, and Jeff Bridges is a desperate hero, Jack Prescott, who attempts to wrest the beautiful heroine, Jessica Lange, from King Kong's grasp. New York trembles with each echoing footstep of the towering ape set loose in the streets. And guess what? It's a remake that's not a complete copy of the original 1933 classic. Did it top the original? No, absolutely not. Nothing ever will. Because that original is a classic of cinema. And yes, it's black and white, but it's still a classic. Now, this version, I saw it last year for the first time. I never seen it as a kid, so I have no nostalgia except for the original. And I gotta say, it's a decent remake. It's not one of the shitty remakes that have come out in like the last 10 years of Nightmare on Elm Street and freaking the I'm not gonna say it because I haven't seen it, but the Evil Dead remake and Halloween and all this other shit. No, this is actually pretty decent. It's a giant suit, ape. But there's no CGI, so I appreciate that. I like the look of it, the movie, because it's from the '70s, so it's really well done. Uh, Kong actually looks like an ape in this one. In the original, the effects were really good for its time, but this one, I was like, yeah, they don't look great, but they still look better than bad CG that they do in these recent Planet of the Apes films. Which I'm sorry, those apes look completely fake to me, and it takes me out of the movie. At least here, you don't see Kong for a while, just like in the original. And it's not. There is one major problem with this movie that was in the Peter Jackson movie as well. This remake is way too long. I'm sorry. The original was like an hour and 40 some minutes. It's long enough. You get the point. It's a classic. But this version is way too long. You know how long this movie is? 2 hours and 14 minutes. That's a long one. If this was an action movie like one of the Avengers or something, I would not complain. But the fact that there are scenes that go on way too long before Kong shows up, and even after they show him, there's scenes that go nowhere with Charles Grodin. That there's a lot of talking on the ship, and I'm like, oh my god, this is boring. Can you please just get to Kong already, or show Jessica Lange? And she's gorgeous in the movie. I gotta say, Jessica Lange. This is her first acting role, and she proved why she is here to stay. And she's still a beautiful actress. I mean, she's not a ripoff of Fay Ray. She's a different. Her characters have got a different name. She's not an actress like in the original, and also she's a blonde, but she's not the same. She has her own take on the character on the beauty part of the Beauty and the Beast story of King Kong. And I liked Jeff Bridges. This is him with a beard before he played the dude in The Big Lebowski, and he's also a really good actor. Both of these people won Oscars, so they can act. And there's no, I don't think there's a dinosaur in the movie. I don't remember, but it's been a long time. But they do some different things. Spoiler alert: instead of Kong climbing up the Empire State Building, he climbs up the Twin Towers, which will never be done again. So that's an image you'll never see in any Kong movie because there is no Twin Towers in New York now because of 9/11. But anyway, yeah, and it's a practical suit, like I said, but the movie it just is too long. 2 hours and 14 minutes. It could have been chopped down in half. Like 2 hours or like an hour and 45 would have been fine. There's padding, and you don't need padding in a movie. I said that with the Pirate sequels. I've said that with some other DC movies. You do not need padding in a movie. If you don't have enough plot or story or characters to get me through it, then you're just putting filler, and I don't like filler. But the fact of the matter is it a good remake? Yeah, I like it for what it is. I don't hate it. And if you haven't seen this remake, and you want to see a longer version of the original, just with some different takes. And no, it's not like Beauty and the Beast where it's pretty much copying the original. No, this does not copy the original. It does its own thing. It's fun when you watch it. It's a great looking movie. It's widescreen, I believe. Yeah, it's the widescreen edition. There's no special features on the DVD, and it's well directed. Director was John Gullerman, and he did a good job with the film. And I like that it could stand on its own. It doesn't have to Beauty killed the Beast like in the Peter Jackson version. A lot of that version was well done. The effects were great, cast was decent, but the movie's way too long. But I gotta review that soon. But that's the thing. You don't need to make a movie. You don't have to redo a film and make it even longer than the original. It's not worth it. It's just you don't want to bore an audience to death. And the fact is that the movie, it can stand on its own 2 feet, though. It's its own movie. It's not a carbon copy, which I appreciate. And, it has a different score. It's in color. It's got a suit instead of stop motion. It does have the same tropes, like where he's fascinated by a blonde and they're on the island and the natives come and they wake him up and he's like, raw. And then he, in this version, he like rips the clothes off of Jessica Lange's dress, and you see her boobs, I think, briefly. There's not full frontal nudity in the movie. Like, there's not full-on nudity like a porno, but there's enough skin to go around. And, Jessica Lange is beautiful in the movie, and she's good in the film. And, the guys are all over. I'm like, yeah, because they don't see a woman on the boat. And this was before the SJW agenda. They didn't make Jessica Lange some badass with a gun or something like that. No. They kept it simple, just like in the original, and subtle. Yeah, is she a damsel in distress? Yeah, but so was the original girl, Fay Ray, and Naomi Watts in the remake in 2005. But it doesn't bother me because back then they knew how to make movies, and it's a good-looking film. It is a little bit long, but if you fast forward some of the talking scenes in the beginning with the guys on the boat, blah 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 about oil, I don't care about oil. I don't need oil. At least not, I'm not gonna fight a country for oil. No, I'm not like that. I'm not political. I'm politically incorrect in everything that I say and do. And, the movie, that oil thing, I'm like, yeah, you could skip that. Just get to Kong. That's when the movie gets good. And, good effects for the time. And it didn't top the original, but it's at least its own thing. Just like the 98 Godzilla, which a lot of people hate. And they also hate the 2014 movie. But that's not technically a remake because it's its own thing. And even though that this movie is pretty much a forgotten 70s film, because a lot of people, when they talk about the 70s, they talk about Star Wars or Alien or Jaws or, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But this King Kong remake kind of got forgotten. And then they did a horrible sequel, King Kong Lives, which that I'm not reviewing because it's awful. I shut it off halfway through because it's so boring. And they curse in it for no reason, just because it's PG-13. But this one is a good one. If you can let go of nostalgia for the original and just see this as its own thing, it works well. And I think despite the long running time, it is entertaining. And that's all I can ask for a King Kong remake. And this was like 40 years after the original. It wasn't done like 10 years later. They waited a long time and they brought Kong back. And I'm glad that Kong made a comeback this year in Kong Skull Island. Love the trailer. I can't wait to see it online because the time has come. So that's the King Kong remake from 1976. I hope you guys do see it, and I'm really pumped that King Kong is going to fight Godzilla again. It's been too long, and I really want to see those two go at it. I've been waiting. I love both of these characters. I grew up with them. Saw both of the original films, and they've held up. And this remake does hold up. It's over 40 years old. I still can watch it, and it's fun despite the running time. So thanks for watching, guys. Take care. I know there's a little lag on my videos. I know it's something wrong with my installation. But anyway, I will see you guys in the next review.